Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I flipping hate manifestation videos. So I want to actually explain to you the neuroscience, the psychology, the actual factual stuff that isn't hocus pocus about how you actually manifest. And this is based on Islam as well. So things I mention here, I'll be linking to Islam bi'idhnillah. Now, my camera is a bit annoying. It doesn't always focus on the things I point at. So if I'm going to walk towards you and show you something specifically so you can focus on it, that's what I'm going to do now, right? The first thing I want to show you is this drawing right here, right? The internal creates your external. What does that mean? Well, the reason your internal creates your external is simply because of this. To have something that you want in life, okay, and let me focus on that part real quick. Bismillah. There you go. To have something that you want in life, ya akhi, you have to be the person who can get the thing. You then have to do the thing to then have the thing. You see, the whole manifestation thing is to just have for no reason other than you thinking about it. That's not how it works, right? With the principle of the internal creating the external, it's simply unlocking blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because you are a certain person who does a certain thing. But how do you become a certain kind of person? Well, there's actually three things you need to do. It's the internal thinking of oneself, like how you think about yourself, basically. That's how you become a different person. You have to think differently about yourself. But you have to think on three different levels. I'm going to focus on me for a second. Bismillah. There you go. Not the most professional setup, but hopefully I'm going to just give you as much value as I possibly can. There are three levels of thinking that you need to have. Number one, the imaginative thinking, the creative thinking, if you will. Number two, the logical thinking. Okay, like how do I do this, right? The question usually comes to how I do this, right? And the third thing is the feeling kind of thinking. So feeling, like emotions, are actually a kind of thought, right? Like it expresses itself in your mind as well as in your quote unquote heart, okay? So imagination, thinking, and feeling, when you put these together, you change, you create power, you create movement. And so oftentimes the issue with people is that their internal is behind, right? And therefore recreates their external, meaning like, let's say they think logically, they know how to make money. They think logically, they know how to go to the gym. They know how to change. They know how to like get in shape. They know how to do what they want to do, right? They know how. But the issue is they don't feel like they're worthy of that thing, right? So if I focus on that part down there very quickly, Habibi, there you go. They don't feel like they deserve that thing. And because they don't feel like they deserve that thing, they can't imagine themselves having it. So although they know what it looks like to have it, they've seen other people. I'm going to go with the example of wealth, right? Like they think they know how to get money. They think logically how to get money, but the issue is they don't feel like they deserve money. They don't feel abundant. They don't feel like somebody who has money. And therefore they can't imagine themselves with money, okay? And imagination is actually linked to the soul, okay? When I talk about the soul, I'm not specifically talking about the ruh because we go into things that are ghaib in our religion, things that we can't see or we can't really fully understand. But let me give you the example this way. Let's focus back on me very quickly. Your eyes, are they the vehicle of seeing or are they what they see? Like, are they what actually sees or are they just the vehicle of seeing? They're just the vehicle, right? Because when you're dead, you still have eyes, but you can't see anything. Your hands, are they the vehicle of touching or are they what touches? Again, they're just the vehicle because when you're dead, your hands can't even move. And when you touch something, you can't feel it, right? If somebody were to touch you, your body doesn't feel it. And so the mind, is it the vehicle of thinking, right? Or is it the seat of thinking? Well, it's just the vehicle because you might have a brain, except without the soul, nothing happens. And so I want you to imagine the soul as this creative power that gives the ability of these things to do what they need to do, okay? And so what you have to understand is that your body, and this is where it gets crazy, right? Your body is limited to what you can imagine itself to do. Simply because your body can do many different things, it's the vehicle for things to be done. However, it can only do things that it can imagine or believe itself doing. So if you want to change who you are, right? If you want to change who you are, you first have to change who you can imagine yourself to be. Change the beliefs about yourself. Change your imagination of who you think you are. And so you have to create almost like a best version of you. Like the best version of me is this kind of person. Right? The best version of me does this. The best version of me does that. But it's not about just doing, because that's about the thinking process. It's about how do I do it? It's about the mind. You have to understand the feeling, the heart. How does this person feel? Okay? Because what most people end up realizing is that externally, they know how to get the thing. Like you know how to make money. It's not a difficult thing to do to make money. Except you feel out of alignment. Like I said, you don't feel like you deserve it. You feel like money is bad for you. You feel like it'll hurt you. You feel like it'll take something away from you. And so you don't feel like you should make money. And therefore, you don't imagine how to make money. And so why do some people flow through life so easily? They're not special. They simply have these three things in alignment, right? They align their imagination, their thinking, and their feeling towards one specific goal. And the key thing about the internal is that it doesn't understand the brain, for example, the mind. It doesn't understand between past, present, and future. It only knows the present. It doesn't understand what happened and it doesn't understand what will happen. What it understands is the present. And it experiences the present with visions and emotions, meaning what it sees in front of it, if it captivates its emotion, it'll store it as a memory and it'll create a quote unquote vision. And so what you have to understand is that when you relive past memories, the reason you believe them to be true isn't because they are actually true, it's because you feel as if they're true in the current moment. And so if you were to close your eyes and envision yourself making $1 million, and you were to feel abundant, you were to feel confident, you were to feel at peace, then your mind understands that as reality, understands that as true. Simply because the brain, the subconscious mind, the part of you that feels, we can call it the heart in this case, it only understands visions and emotions. That's it. It understands what it sees, what it touches, what it feels, what it hears, what it smells, what it tastes. But it understands, most importantly, the feelings that are associated with that thing. And so the reason your internal creates your external is because the internal is how you change who you are. And in the internal, changing who you are by aligning your thinking, your feeling, and your imagination towards one goal, you end up doing the things because you're now imaginative, because you think and you know how to do it, and most importantly, because you feel worthy of doing it, right? So you don't procrastinate, you just take action, you do what you need to do, and therefore you'll have the thing you want. But having is what? It's a gift from Allah. And so when you understand that, you just have to become a different person. You have to do a different thing. But to have the thing has nothing to do with this. It has to do with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gifting it to you. Then you understand that the internal creates the external, but the external is you. And so what you're trying to do, ya akhi kareem, isn't manifest something, it's change who you are. That is how you achieve the things you want in life. Because understand this, if it's not written for you, something better is written for you. But you have to become the person who is capable of receiving that gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so I beg of you, please, 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 as a Muslim, forget about the manifestation stuff. Forget about that you have any control whatsoever over what you can get. You do not. The only thing you can do is be the person, do the things, and let Allah handle the rest for you. Detach yourself from the outcome. Allow Allah to do the best. Because Allah is Al-Hakim. Allah is the most wise, and therefore, right, what He has planned for you is the best thing possible for you. You have to have faith in that. The way you want to plan your life is ridiculous. It's stupid. Don't think that what you want in life is what you should have, right? Take your desires, your deep desires for success, for abundance, for more. It's good. It's natural. Everything in life is abundant. Therefore, you wanting to be abundant is a good thing. It's natural, right? But you take those things, you understand that they're gifts from Allah. The desire for something is a gift from Allah. You go, right, who do I need to become to achieve those things? You do the things you need to do to achieve those things. Then you go, right, well, I'm doing, Allah will give me. Allah will give me. The internal creates the external, being you. So your internal world will recreate who you are. And so do not try and do things to be or to have. Be the person first by changing the way you think about yourself, by changing your imagination, by changing changing what you think is possible, by changing the way you feel about yourself and your goals, and by thinking logically about what you need to do. And that is how you actually manifest stuff according to neuroscience and according to psychology. So, Jazakallah khair for watching. If you want to learn a bit more about detaching yourself and allowing Allah to bless you with gifts, I have a very emotional video here of me basically talking about my story of detachment. So feel free to go watch it. Inshallah, I'll speak to you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My clicker's not working.